Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Coming to you today, going to talk about some company stocks. So, say you're a company driver or an owner-operator, and you want more exposure to the trucking industry. Say you're a company driver and you want to get in on these good rates, but you don't want to give up your company benefits, your health insurance, and whatnot. I got a solution. You could look into publicly traded trucking companies. Now, I want to get it right off the bat, right up front. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. It's your money. You spend it how you see fit. I'm just going to throw out some information on some trucking companies here to give you something to think about, okay? So, let's say, you see big companies on the road. You got Schneider. You got J.B. Hunt, you got Werner, you got Knight Swift, Landstar, C.H. Robinson, TFI International, Old Dominion, Yellow, used to be YRC, Yellow and Roadway merged and became YRC Worldwide. Now they're changing their name, or they've changed their name to Yellow Corp. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the government bailout. They got $750 million. From the government, so they didn't have to go out of business. I'm sure that secured a lot of union votes, but that's in my opinion, so take that for what you will. I'm not against the union. I'm not talking smack about the union. I'm just saying, politics and unions typically intertwine quite a bit. So if that hurts your feelings, sorry, leave me a comment or whatever. So there's lots of publicly traded companies out there in the trucking industry. We can get into the trucking segment of the publicly traded companies all different ways. So you want to do, partial, like LTL, parcels, packages, FedEx, UPS is there. You want to get into the big mega truckloads. Like I said, J.B. Hunt, Werner, Knight Swift. Knight Swift is they merged, so it's Knight Swift. Who else is in there? USA Truck, Heartland, Martin Transport if you want some reefer action. Covenant, Pam Transport, Universal Logistics. There's lots of ways to get exposure to trucking. So let's go over some stats on some trucking companies that I find interesting. Let's go over Schneider National. And I looked these up for February 9th, 2021. Schneider National is trading at $22.93 a share with a market cap of $4.07 billion. So Schneider's worth $4.07 billion. They pay a dividend of 1.22% and a PE ratio of 19.24%. Or no, that's not a percentage. Price to earnings ratio of 19.24. Sorry about that. So Schneider's worth about $4 billion. They're a lot bigger than I thought they were. I guess they're in the rail and everything too. J.B. Hunt in the house. J.B. Hunt trading for $148.35 a share today. Market cap on J.B. Hunt is massive. J.B. Hunt market cap $15.6 billion. J.B. Hunt is way bigger than I thought. But I guess if you think about that intermodal business, have you watched the freight train go by lately? It's like J.B. Hunt, J.B. Hunt, J.B. Hunt, J.B. Hunt, J.B. Hunt stacked on top of J.B. Hunt. So I guess that intermodal game is ridiculous over there these days. Plus J.B. Hunt 360. I see a lot of those trucks. Is anybody else using J.B. Hunt 360 app? Werner Enterprises. So Werner Enterprises trading today at $42.45 a share for Werner Enterprises today. That's a market cap $2.88 billion. So it's a pretty good sized company, and they put out a dividend of 0.85%, which is not a very good dividend. But let's face it, most trucking companies don't pay a good dividend because trucking companies have to buy a lot of equipment, so they don't have a lot of free cash. Werner's got a PE ratio of 17.3, and they had revenue in 2020 of $590 million for a year. So they make like, what is that, like $10 million a week at Werner. Werner makes like, in 2020, they made over $10 million a week. To go back up to JB Hunt real quick, JB Hunt did $2.74 billion in revenue last year. Whoa, that's like $50 million a week. I mean, that's craziness. They're making like $8-9 million a day over there at JB Hunt. That is amazing. The next one, Knight Swift. You know the big boys, Knight Swift, trading at $42.93 today. Market capitalization of $7.29 billion. Dividend yield of 0.75. Most of these, you're on most of the trucking companies, you're right at or under 1%. So Knight Swift, 0.75% dividend, P/E ratio of 7.86. In 2020, Knight Swift did $1.28 billion in revenue. That's impressive. That's impressive. Some other ways to get in, like Landstar. Landstar is not particularly just a trucking company. I mean, they're not even... what do they consider that? I know that they got a certain thing they call Landstar. It's not really a trucking company. It's like asset-based or whatever brokerage. Basically, Landstar provides the trailers and the software and all that fun stuff. Y'all know Landstar. We see them everywhere. They got their load board. You lease your truck on over there. You pull their trailer. You go buy yourself a trailer, however you want to do it. It's percentage-based. Landstar's got a very unique business model. And a couple others are trying to copy it, I think. Like Schneider with the choice board. I think that's a bit of a copy of Landstar. USA Truck's trying to do a load board thing now. I think that's a copy of Landstar. And hey, if it's successful, there's always going to be people trying to copy it. So Landstar trading today at $152.90 a share. That's a market capitalization of $5.8 billion. Dang, man, that's a lot of money. That's a big company. I think they got like 10,000 plus contractors over there, so a lot going on. Dividend yield of 0.55%. PE ratio 30.7 PE ratio. That's an expensive logistic PE ratio. Anything in the transportation industry, I can tell you by looking at these. JB Hunt was in the 30. Landstar's in the 30, but most of the other ones I looked up and I got a PE ratio on them. Most of them are like in the like 17 to 25. So Landstar's in the 30. That's a you're paying more, price to earnings. So, like I said, revenue in 2020 was $1.3 billion. C.H. Robinson, there's your good way to get some exposure to the good rates without having to, quit your company job or buy more equipment. You can buy some C.H. Robinson stock. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice. These are just thoughts. Ideas here. C.H. Robinson traded today at $91.87 a share. They got a market capitalization of $12.5 billion. $12.5 billion for C.H. Robinson. That's big. That's big. They move a lot of freight. They broker a lot of freight. And they're into some warehousing as well. They have a dividend yield of 2.22%. So that's like, a more average dividend, and you still get a lot of exposure to transportation, into the transportation industry. So that's an interesting way to play it. The PE ratio over there is 24.7. So just something to think about. A company that's been in the news a lot, TFI International. TFI International just bought, they already own, CFI. They already own the refrigerated part of MCT and the company Transport America. They just bought UPS Freight from UPS. And they also just bought a heavy haul carrier. I think they own 91 trucking companies now. TFI International is trading at $78 63 cents a share. They had 2020 revenues of 1.25 billion. I didn't look up their market cap. It wasn't right there on Google. I pulled all this information from Google Finance, just so you know where I got the information from. But yeah, TFI International, they've got a really, they keep buying up companies. They're really growing by mergers and acquisitions, mostly acquisitions. I don't know if they've done any mergers. It's all acquisitions. But I'm really want to keep an eye on them with this UPS Freight deal because, UPS Freight lost $463 million last year. So TFI has been on a tear, on the upward trend. But they bought a company that lost $463 million last year. They bought a company that UPS, UPS has got tons of money to fix UPS Freight. And they said, nah, I think we'd rather just sell it at a loss. So TFI, I'm interested in seeing where they're at a year from now with that UPS Freight. I'm sure they got an idea. A company of that size that had $1.25 billion in revenue last year, they got an idea for that company. They're not buying that company to take a loss on it. Let's be real. Yellow Corporation, like I said, Yellow used to be YRC. Used to be Yellow Roadway, changed to YRC Worldwide. Now it's back to Yellow. $5.15 a share, $1.18 billion. They were basically bankrupt, and the government gave them $750 million. So I remember just a few months ago, that stock was in the $2 range. So that went from $2 to $5. Now that's no Bitcoin returns, but that's more than doubling the money on that. And they have a market capitalization of $274 million. That reflects that needing to bail out and almost going bankrupt. Old Dominion Freight. Old Dominion Freight is a juggernaut of a stock. $215.52 a share today. $1.06 billion. $1.06 billion revenue in 2020. Come on. Market capitalization of $25.29 billion. Massive. Dividend yield 0.37 and a PE ratio of, get this, 37.96. So just say 38 times earnings you're paying for that company. That's why that market capitalization is so big there. There's such a premium on that company. There's also other ways to get into the transportation end of stocks. You got trucking companies. You got, shipping companies as far as moving things on boats, actual on ships, shipping companies. You got the railroads. You've got other ways to play it, but these are just to get in on the trucking companies, to get some exposure to these better rates. And, like I said, if none of these interest you, UPS is publicly traded, FedEx is publicly traded, Covenant Transport out of Chattanooga, PAM out of Tawnytown, Arkansas, Universal Logistics does a lot of different things. They're into truckload carriers. They've got their own load board, I believe. They're big into rail now, into container moving. So all big things. Martin Transport, like I said, if you want a pure reefer play, Martin Transport's a publicly traded company. XPO Logistics, they're into everything. Watch my XPO Logistics video from the other day, you'd know that. Hub Group, another one that's into a lot of logistics and rail stuff. Check them out. Roadrunner is now just LTL. Roadrunner used to have 15 divisions, and they almost went out of business, so they sold off everything, but they're LTL now. I think they're saying they're a pure LTL play. They almost went bankrupt. They did. ABF Freight is another big LTL. Saya, another big LTL. And like I said, USA Truck and Heartland, if you want some, exposure to truckload, drive-in truckload. But yeah, there it is, guys. Get yourself some exposure if that's the way you want to go. You don't have to necessarily own a truck to own a trucking company, or a small part of one, I guess I should say. But that's it, guys. If you've made it this far, give me the thumbs up if you like the video. Consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber. And take care of each other out there. Thanks for watching. Later.